This is Talk of the Town, a weekly program featuring community events happening in and around Northeast Michigan. With your host, Bradley Summers. And get the latest from Alpena Community College with ACC President Dr. Don McMaster. And now, today's Talk of the Town.
Good morning and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm your host, Bradley Summers. And first off, I'd like to say Happy New Year to all of you beautiful people out there. Thanks for joining us today as we have our first guest, Preza Morrison from the Salvation Army. Good morning.
Good morning.
How are you today?
Here. Oh, great. Awesome.
Good. Good. We're all listening. We hear the bells ringing. We see the red kettles all over town. Give us a little update on your campaign thus far.
Yeah, it was kind of interesting. I went to Walmart today and I didn't hear any bells, and I thought something was wrong because I didn't hear any bells. But we are done with our kettle collection, but we're not done with our Christmas goal. Our goal was $160,000, and we've only made $130,000, so we still have about $30,000 left to raise. Again, we usually go through the middle to the end of January to collect those funds, so you're not too late. You can still give to the Salvation Army.
Wow, $130,000 is a pretty good goal.
Yes, it is. Yes.
Pretty good so far, the 160.
Yep, that's just November and December.
And what are ways that that we can make a donation?
Well, again, they can send it to our mailing address, which is 722 North 2nd Avenue. They can also drop it off there, and they can also go online, which is www.salmich.org/Alpena.
And then they could call you as well.
Yes, they can call me up with a credit card, and we can book them that way.
Awesome. So there's a lot of different ways that we could still make a donation to the Salvation Army.
Yes, very much so.
Awesome. So let's get to that 160 goal. That's and what are some of the things that the $160,000 of that goal? What is it used for?
Well, again, it's used for things throughout the whole year. So it's not just a Christmas goal to provide for the Christmas assistance, but it helps us to provide for the whole year. And so some of the things that we assist people with is utility bills. We assist them with housing issues. We may assist them with vouchers for household items or furniture items or clothing items. Maybe they're starting a new job and they need some outfits. We can send them to our thrift store with the voucher system. Also, we have a pantry, a food pantry, and also a personal care item. When you get the bridge cards, you're only allowed to use them for certain objects. And so we try to provide those other ways of providing for them. When they come, they can get shampoo and conditioner and detergent and all of that. That's some of the works that we do. We also help with other agencies. Sometimes an agency says we can help with A and B and C, but to really get them stable, they need C, and we don't have the funding for that. Can you help? And we do.
So it's truly a gift that gives back.
Yes, yes. And because it comes from the community, we're, in a sense, are told by the community how to use our funds. And so it's not like the government that says you can only use it this way, you can only use it that way, and they have restraints on us. We have no restraint. Our restraint is whatever the community feels we need to have in this community, we're willing to do.
So I bet that's a lot of work just to listen to the community on what things are needed, outside of the toiletries and some of those assistants, just listening to everybody.
Yes, yes. And especially other agencies, because we, again, listen to them and they say, well, we get funding for this area and this area and that area, but we have no one who helps us in this area. We really feel that people in this community needs this. Some of the things we've just recently done is IDs. We are able to provide their Social Security cards. We're able to provide birth certificates for them too. And so an agency just contacts us and give us a list of people who need them to find a job or need them to get other kind of assistance, and we're able to provide those.
Wow, that's great work. That's hard work too.
Yes, yes it is. Yes it is. Yeah, I have one caseworker, and Kathy does all that work, and then we have some really great volunteers that really help us throughout the week. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do.
Well, and then the next part's kind of a lead into the need for some volunteers, but talk about a little bit about your disaster relief services.
Yes, the Salvation Army has been doing disaster services since the 1900s. There was a Galveston in Texas, there was a hurricane down there, and that was the first time the Salvation Army went into a city and tried to provide services for the community. Since then, I personally have been to New York after September 11th. I was down to help to assist in Katrina, and so the Salvation Army does that here in this community too. Whatever the needs are, we try to assist the victims and also assist the first responders that are out there. And right now we're seeking needs. We need people to assist us in that, because right now we only have a couple volunteers that do that work, and we need to have, especially some of us are aging out, and we're not able to do it as much as we used to. So we're looking at volunteers who would be willing to train to be able to help us to serve first responders and the victims whenever there's a hurricane, especially if there's something citywide. Very important. We've been talking to the city about the dam breaking and what would happen if that, and how would we, the Salvation Army, provide services to help the community. But we need more than just me to do that. We need to have volunteers.
So how would I go about volunteering?
All you need to do is call the Salvation Army, and just call us, and we'd be able to, or call me, and we'd be able to set you up with some training, and so that you could assist us whenever we're needed. Now, of course, disasters most of the time seem to take place at 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning. So, you know, you got to be prepared to understand that that happens sometimes. You know, sometimes we're lucky enough to get during the day, but sometimes it's in the middle of the night. But if I can get enough volunteers, we can even have some people do it in the mornings or the afternoons. And also, we've had disasters in the past that have lasted 2 or 3 days when there's been some searching for victims or things like that. So the Salvation Army has helped in this community, and the museum has a flag, has a tree up right now with pictures of disaster services that we've done.
Yeah, that's pretty incredible too. I mean, you know, just because we don't see hurricanes here or, you know, some of those, but we still see, you know, blizzards, and we still have, you know, tornadoes and natural disasters that can wreak havoc on a family, household, or a structure or anything. Being able to have somebody like you and a team of people that can come out and respond is pretty incredible.
And we took our canteen down to Gaylord after it happened, and we went through the trailer park and provided meals for some people there that were searching, and then some first responders too. So even in here, we take our canteen outside of the area too to serve people.
Yeah, that's incredible. And you know, I know Salvation Army is a nationwide program, correct?
Yeah, we're international.
International, and you know, and it's really nice to be able to have those connections too with the training and, you know, that network. You know, I'm part of an organization that's affiliated with a large organization too, but you know, being able to dictate what we do for our community as well is imperative.
Oh, very much so. And what I like is the collaboration that we do. Even when I went to Katrina and went to, after September 11th, we were like with the Southern Baptist. They have a disaster service, so we worked with them. We worked with the Red Cross, and we work with a lot of our other agencies so that we can help the total person, because not one of us can help everybody with everything. So especially when FEMA jumps into the picture, when FEMA jumps in, they say, like, you take care of this, and Salvation Army, you take care of this, Red Cross, you take care of this, and they have, each one of us have our area of expertise, and we're feeding. That's our expertise, and they usually have us take care of that.
Wow, thank you so much for the work that you're doing.
Sure.
Well, that's all the time that we have for today. Again, we could talk for an hour about the wonderful things that you're doing in the community and beyond. You know, but thank you again for being here.
Oh, thank you for
And
asking me.
Happy New Year.
You too.
Happy New Year. Please join us after the break with Cindy Johnson from the Huron Humane Society. Welcome back, everyone, to the New Year's show. My next guest is Cindy Johnson with the Huron Humane Society. Hi, Cindy.
Good morning. How are you?
Good morning. Great. How are you?
I am fantastic. Tired.
Tired. The holidays.
The holidays.
The holidays. It's the doldrum right after it's all kind of settled. And
has it settled?
No, I don't really know if it has settled yet.
I don't think it has.
Well, I know you always have a lot going on at the shelter. You know, and you know, I know I've seen a lot of great pictures of the cats that you have up looking for their forever homes. I know I was joking with you right before we got on that, you know, my daughter won't stop looking at all the social media pictures of all the kitties, little tiny kitties, that she wants to take every one of them home. She's an aspiring vet, so this is like a you know, right up her alley. She just loves pets. But talk a little bit about some of the updates at the shelter right now.
We have lots of cats, and everyone who knows who's been waiting to bring in cats, we have a waiting list. Over the last couple of weeks, we really have whittled that down. So our waiting list is almost empty. So if you're still on it, we're getting to you, but cats come in every single day. We partner with PetSmart. They took 6 of them the other day, which opens up room for 6 more to come in. So we work really hard to adopt out cats. We do have a special needs dog right now. It's going to take a really special family to take this dog. He's about 35 pounds. He's fixed. He's microchipped. He'll be up to date on all of his vaccinations. We have to do that. But he is completely deaf. And partially blind. He does know some hand signals that we can teach the people, whoever's interested in him, we can teach him what He knows. He did come from a hoarding situation, so he does have a little bit of food aggression, so we recommend he's be the only dog. And so we understand his food aggression. He's not aggressive with animals that come into the home or anything like that. He's fine with that. It's just the food. So, you know, anyone who, you know, who has the ability to take on a special needs, he is one that needs a special person. He's had a broken front leg in the past. He seems to have a back leg issue that maybe wasn't taken care of. He's still spry. He loves to go outside. He always will have to be leash walked, but he loves to walk. Sweet dog, knows a lot of commands. People have to come and see him to really understand his needs, but he'll be a special dog for somebody.
And you said he was 8 years old?
He's 8 years old.
8 years old. You know, and I know there's got to be someone, you know, there are people out there. I know this is a very caring community that we live in, you know, and someone that really needs that companion, you know, and a dog that's, you know, in the middle part of its life, you know, so it's not a puppy, you know.
Right.
But at the same time, like you said, there's some special needs that, you know, that'll need to get, you know, taken care of as well, and it takes a special person to have a special dog.
It does, and I have to tell people, I adopted a blind dog from the shelter probably 12 years ago. He was blind when we adopted him. He is just as capable as any other dog out there. He just isn't sighted, but he navigates the house. He does steps. He, you know, outside he uses his nose and his ears to know where he is going. He knows where he is outside, and he walks every day. So they're just like any other animal. You just have to adjust to their needs, and you do, and they become a very special part of your family.
Awesome.
So,
and how long have you had him at the shelter?
The dog that we have at the shelter has been there about 4 days now.
Okay.
So you know, we don't want him to sit at the shelter for a long time. That's not good for any dog with special needs like that. They need a safe environment to be in. But so, he's on the website. People can go to the website and take a peek at him, or come out to the shelter. We're open Monday through Saturday, 11:30 to 5. Every day, at 5:30 every day. So just pop out, see him, take him for a walk. Even if you're not thinking about adopting, come and take him for a walk. So he's a special creature.
Yeah, and just like any other nonprofit, I mean, you know, everybody's looking for volunteers, and you know, for someone to come out during their lunchtime just to take a dog for a walk. That's how I ended up getting my dog that I still have from your shelter. You know, was coming out and just taking for a walk, and you know, she's been the most loving, wonderful animal that we've ever had, and you know, my kid's best friend. So. You know, it's pretty cool that, you know, you can build that special bond with an animal just by doing something very simple.
Simple, and it means the world to them. I mean, staff does a lot at the shelter. We spend an awful lot of time with the animals, but sometimes we have crazy days, and, you know, to take 20 minutes out of your day to take that dog for a walk sometimes doesn't happen. So it means the world to that animal that volunteers come and just spend that 20, 25 minutes with that animal. Just get them outside and take them for a walk. And if it happens 2 or 3 times a day because 2 or 3 people came out, the more the merrier.
And you still have a foster program?
We do have a foster program. Most of the time we only foster animals if they have medical conditions that they need 24-hour care. So a lot of times that special needs kittens that come in without a mom, need to be fed throughout the day and evening, or they're really sick, or they've just had an extensive surgery. Most of the time we like to keep the animals in the shelter so they're available for people to see, because if people can't see them, they won't adopt them. So, but yeah, we do foster. So anyone who might want to foster an animal for us, please put in an application, because when we need a foster, it comes up quickly. Like, oh dear goodness, we need a foster. You'll see us go to Facebook saying, oh, we have 3 kittens without a mom, we need a foster. And we'll put them in foster until they're well enough to come back into the shelter, which is usually about 5 or 6 weeks. When they're eating on their own and all of that, we bring them back in. We continue to care for them, but they're there for people to see, because we pre-adopt animals that are too young to go home, so people can pick their animal, come and visit for those last couple of weeks, bond with them, and we care for them.
Yeah. Well, you know, as always, you know, this is a perfect time of the year to always come in, have a, you know, try to provide that forever home for these little ones. You know, the kittens and the dogs, and you know, all the wonderful animals that are, you know, are coming to the shelter that need those homes. So, you know, thank you for you and your team for everything that you're doing too.
You're welcome.
You know, I say that every time you're on, and I say that to everybody that sits in that on that couch. But you know, I'm always amazed by all the wonderful, gracious nature of our community and how we, you know, everybody steps up, and you know, I hope that dog finds a home, and you know, someone steps up for that puppy, and well, not a puppy, but you know, you know what I mean. But you know, I just hope someone steps up and you know, you find a home for that one.
I think someone will. There is a person out there that will appreciate this animal.
Absolutely. Well, you know, that's all the time that we have for today. It goes by fast.
It does.
You know, thank you so much for being here. You know, I wish you and your beautiful family a very happy new year.
Oh, same to you.
And we'll talk the next time we're on.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Thank you all for joining us today. I hope you all have a beautiful, safe, and healthy new year.
Greetings, everyone, and welcome to Talk of the Town. I'm Dr. Don McMaster, president of Alpena Community College. I thought I'd take our time today to bring you up to date on a project the college is working on, and that is finding funding for another unit of student housing. You may or may not know we do operate student housing at the college. We have 2 units that when they are full, and they have been for a number of years now, will house 64 students. So 2 units each with 8 apartments in each, 4 students per apartment. So 32 per unit, 64 total. We are finding that that's not enough housing because we have quite a bit more demand from students for housing than we have housing to meet that demand. And because enrollment is so challenging everywhere, including in Northeast Michigan, this is a situation we would like to resolve or improve. So we have costed out what another unit of housing would run, including probably a smaller standalone gathering space where students could come out of their rooms and have a TV or a ping pong table or someplace to socialize. So another unit of housing and a small single-story student gathering space. We're estimating that to be just over $4 million, a big chunk of money. And we're hopeful to get some of that from the state. Ordinarily, the state does not fund housing on for colleges or universities, but the state is grappling, we all are grappling, with a housing shortage across the state. And it affects us as well. Students who can't get in our housing have been having an increasingly difficult time finding rental housing, and which precludes other folks from using or accessing rental housing. So the state, I believe, is interested in potentially funding some or all of housing on community college campuses. There was a bill last legislative cycle that came out of the Joint Capital Outlay Subcommittee that would have potentially funded all of another unit of student housing for us, plus half of a capital outlay project to renovate NRC, Natural Resources Center, which is another project on our list. Unfortunately, that bill, which had a lot of support in the Senate and marginal support in the House, died in lame duck. And you know, there was a surprise in the midterms in terms of the Senate and the House both turning Democratic So the kind of political landscape and many of the key actors have changed, some haven't. So starting in January, we need to remake the argument again that funding for housing is very important. Here would be a student's perspective on why housing, well, I'll just share with you a note I received from a student, and it was titled "The Importance of College Housing." College housing is very important not only to a school's student enrollment numbers, but also to the students themselves. As a student at Alpena Community College and a resident of the campus apartments, I can only reinforce my position on this topic. Now, this student is from Tawas. When I was deciding how to go about attending college, it seemed my only option was to drive almost 2 hours there and back every day in order to make it to classes. I was not looking forward to the upcoming semester at all, and changing colleges had crossed my mind. When I learned that we had campus housing, everything changed. I was able to secure a space on campus with another one of my friends and another roommate. I was excited to still have that college experience, which she puts in quotation marks, which is a real thing, but remain at the community college to finish my associate's degree. Having campus housing not only gave me new opportunities on campus and flexibility with clubs, but allowed a social life where what would have been drive time was instead spent hanging out with friends after studying or put to use in other ways. This is a key point. Getting to know the college town where I was attending allowed me to become part of this community and create a new sense of home at school. When you allow the students to stay on campus, not just for classes, you are giving them the opportunity to make better use of campus resources, health resources, and activities. It also allows students to create a community and make meaningful connections. Since I was able to stay on campus, I was able to take advantage of the gym and our free student memberships, allowing myself to maintain good health, which I wouldn't have had time for if I was driving that distance daily. Many students that do stay in the housing have also been able to utilize the mental health and counseling services offered on campus because they are allowed more free time in being able to live right on campus. With the numerous clubs and activities offered weekly here at ACC, I find myself able to attend them much more than if I had commuted. And these have allowed me to create lifelong friendships and also focus more on my academics with study groups, teacher connections, etc. So this is a powerful argument, from a student who is saying, student housing is important, especially for students that don't live in Alpena, and many of ours don't. And the subtext of that is if, as she pointed out, if you're asking students to drive 2 hours to campus to take classes, they may consider going elsewhere. There's certainly a number, all the schools around us are hungry for enrollment. And so we are strongly working toward finding funding for another unit of housing, which we think would really, our data shows that about 110 to 120 students inquire about housing. In other words, they would like to have housing. And we have, as I mentioned, room for 64 students. So we think another unit of housing would fill. And this is a key piece. If they fill and they're managed well, as they are by our housing director, Cindy DeRocher, housing can be very much a revenue generator for the college, in addition to helping enrollment and in addition helping students. So all of these things are important. These are, I guess, things that we're working on, or I'm working on. We're working on as a team together. And we hope in the new year to crack that nut. So have a great New Year's Eve, and we will see you again in 2023. Thank you again, and thank you for supporting Alpena Community College.
This has been Talk of the Town with your hosts Bradley Summers and Dr. Don McMaster. For a list of community events taking place in Northeast Michigan, please visit our website at WBKB11.com and click on our community link. This has been a Thunder Bay Broadcasting Corporation production. All rights reserved.